It was a boring Saturday, and Fanfare Comics, better known as the store with the hideous Sonic the Hedgehog display in the window, was one of the places that I went in looking to be inspired. I looked at their used video games, tried to understand their role-playing section, and flipped through some comic books. As I walked to the door, I noticed a shabby-looking bulletin board. There was a flyer. I don't know why it even caught my eye. And in the middle, it had this painfully generic company logo and some text along the lines of, "Do you want to be in a superhero movie?" Do I want to be in a superhero movie? No, actually I'm good. But the flyer was off-putting enough for me to take a picture of it with my phone and eventually get bored enough to call the number. And that's how it started.
A Kalamazoo-based independent film company called Phoenix Reborn Films will be premiering a new film this spring, The Adventures of the Fat Bat, Episode 3, Queen of the City.
Hold up. We missed the important thing.
This spring, The Adventures of the Fat Bat, Episode 3, Episode 3, Episode 3.
Episode 3. This is the third one of these things they've made. And these movies are not some 70-minute horror flick that's in the woods with 3 people and some fake blood. These are massive epics, rivaling any blockbuster in terms of scope and creator effort. Movies are the most difficult art form to create. They take the most money and people and money.
One of the first questions I asked about film production is, how much? Well, how long is a piece of string? A motion picture is not a stock or inventory item. It can cost surprisingly little or involve a budget that would choke an elephant.
Hello, Joe. $12,000.
Fine. I knew you'd come up with a figure that'd be right in the bullseye.
What would possess someone to make 3 of these things? Along with double that amount of short films, and remaking old stuff when you learn a new technique. And when you're done, then the real work starts. Begging someone to reward your effort, someone to validate your work, someone to care. This filmmaker has a story, and it's not the one he's currently promoting on a canceled local daytime television show.
Well, thank you both so much for telling us about all your projects. You sound very busy with this. And all the best of luck with your new movie.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
And we'll be right back on The Lori Moore Show on your CW7.
Public Media Network, PMN, also known as Kalamazoo Public Education and Government Access Television. The station, or stations, there are 5 of them, are used for broadcasting community meetings, random events, and whatever Kalamazoo County hands them. In addition to a communications channel, PMN provides equipment and facilities to almost anyone who wants to make something, be that a talk show, a rap battle, or even a parody comic book cinematic universe. Phoenix Reborn Films would not exist without this public access station. During the production of their projects, they treated this place like a playground. They would start each weekend waiting for the office to open, dump mountains of equipment, costumes, and props in the conference room. It didn't seem like it mattered if they were going to use it for the day's production or not. The shooting mostly took place in one of 2 green screen studios, but often extended into the lobby, random offices, hallways, or reception desks. In order to use public access facilities and equipment, there's an understanding that you submit it to run on public access television. There's also an understanding that if you submit it to public access television and it doesn't have a sales message or human genitalia in it, public access television will run your project on repeat.
All together. This is a series of films that you've been doing.
Yep.
What is the premise of it, Bill?
Well, the idea, it's a parody of the DC Comics Batman character. The parody is that Batman is like the world's first overweight superhero, the Fat Bat. And the underlying idea, specifically with Queen of the City, is I saw Kevin Smith, the filmmaker, do an interview about a year or two ago, and he said that he's never seen Batman have a happy ending. And he would love the idea of a Batman story with a happy ending. And that sort of inspired the writing of the script. And that's, I don't want to ruin the film.
No, we don't want to tell the ending.
Yeah.
Now we know it's happy ending.
Yeah.
An overweight parody of Batman finds his happy ending. Sounds easy enough to understand. Easy to understand is good when you're working with limited resources. My friend Joseph finished a film program a couple years ago, then took limited resources and members of his graduating class to make Love is Blind. With the synopsis, a girl tries to win her blind ex-boyfriend back by pretending to be other people. Concise and achievable premise, which helped the final product become a reasonably successful, micro-budget, G-rated romantic comedy. But for this project, the creator didn't stop at his elevator pitch when figuring out the direction for the film. The overweight parody of Batman finding his happy ending synopsis would, depending on your interpretation, either be supplemented or muddled by the following themes. There's obvious writing inspirations of both South Park and the films of Kevin Smith. The impacts to culture of celebrity worship and a 24-hour news cycle. Direct copies or slight variations of scenes from Fight Club, Malice, Glengarry Glen Ross, in addition to some other movies I couldn't quite place. This odd circular structure, which characters flow in and out, almost like each film is a series of episodes with recaps and repeated altercations. The heartwarming message of loving one's eccentricities, set against the wanton ridicule and destruction of the same character traits. Random memorials to loved ones who have passed. And all of this was mixed in with both parodies and realistic takes of any superhero or celebrity the writer could get a costume for.
I think it's important for anyone who wants to work with someone else to build the kind of trust with that person that they're working with. Work with someone that you know can carry the water.
I'm Jason DeVries. My career is in IT. I met Bill actually working for him. Well, he asked me if I wanted to make a movie with him, and I said, I'm not that type of person. But no, there's always stuff that we'll just randomly start arguing, and we're both very persistent on our.
Yeah, and in order to be an effective filmmaker, I think you have to be stubborn. I don't mind working with someone who can defend their opinion. As Jason tries to figure out the new innovative ways to do things, and I appreciate the heck out of that because he saves us a lot of time and money. And I'm more of a traditionalist, where I try to find the way that people have done it for years. And that's like, that could be a major point of contention. But having a disagreement is not a problem, because we both want to make the best film that we can.
We'll be there in front of the cast and crew and have a big argument, and then 5 minutes later we're just recording and.
Yeah, it's fine, you know.
It's like, I expect it usually looks a lot worse than it is, and
I don't want to work with people who aren't passionate about what they do. Like, one of the biggest contention points in this film was was one of the silliest things ever. It was over a boom stand. Jason wanted to use a boom stand,
instead of having to
boom
require
operators.
somebody there hold a boom pole all the time. We could do stuff without having to have the extra person there if we, it was better to have them trying to help us manage cameras or the audio. There's times where we used boom pole and it's
So it's compromise.
it's just another tool in the toolbox.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's small stuff like that. Like we have never, as far as I know, can remember, have had a disagreement about anything serious because we plan out all of these scenes before we go into it. It's just both of us are stubborn and pig-headed. So we're going to say our opinion, and we're not going to back down, especially in front of the other one. I can foresee us working as a team.
Yeah.
Just because our styles complement each other.
Yeah.
Like I know I don't have to worry about a lot of the technical stuff because Jason has that handled.
I really don't have any interest in trying to do my own projects or.
If Jason were to come to me and say, I have an idea for a film, I really want to pursue it, that is something we would definitely go after.
My name is James Keeson, and I have had the great opportunity to have done many things with Phoenix Reborn Films. I have always had an interest in filmmaking as long as I can remember, since when I was a kid. So it wasn't until the birth of my first child that I was able to justify the cost of a VHS camcorder. So as soon as I got that, I got into making some fun films with friends and family, and it was, it's just a good time. And then I caught wind of Channel 101. The premise is that they would make a TV show that was only 5 minutes long, and so, but it would have to have all those things that speak to you as far as like this is a TV show like you would see. And so like if you had like a buddy cop show, it'd have to have all those kind of tropes and assorted things or the feel about it. And so that really got me energized. I wanted to make a submission and submit this to Channel 101. Well, I never did, but they did start doing a thing called Acceptable TV that ran on a cable network for a short while, and I did submit to that. So the extreme short form was really challenging and really fun, and so I made a short that if you see it, you cannot unsee it. It's called The Feastmaster.
Blah, blah, blah. Only one of them remains, the Feastmaster. And now, the Feastmaster.
Woman, boil some oil and get a sharp knife for these potatoes.
Oh, this is scrumptious.
It looks good. It is good.
I felt like I was kind of at a turning point at that point where I'd been doing things with friends and family, and it'd been fun, but sometimes your friends and your family, they're not into it so much as they're humoring you. They're like, yeah, we'll do this, it's kind of fun, but they're not into it in their heart in the same way that you are. I found out about Phoenix Reborn Films and Bill Kraft through his wife, actually. She used to work in the department next to mine in the building where I work. And one day I was walking to the break room to go get some food. As you can see, I'm no stranger to food. And I saw on her door she had posted the poster for The Problem with Honor. I was really interested because it was sci-fi. Right on the poster is this like sort of like Jules Verne looking spaceship. So I love watching low budget sci-fi films. And the reason is the people who make low budget sci-fi, they have to really get imaginative to pull it off because they don't have the big money. So and you can see in several films people will employ garbage bags as part of the set, or bubble wrap, or all sorts of things. So it's really neat. And so to find out there was somebody in Kalamazoo who was doing low budget sci-fi, I just had to meet this person because I too am a filmmaker, and I too have made low budget sci-fi, not a feature length film, but shorts. And I was like, I have to work with this person. It's just, that's all there was to it.
So we worked at PMM the first day we got there.
remember Charlie called. He said there was this Fat Bat film, and both Charlie and I make films, mainly short cat plates movies. But then we'll get into it. But so we show up at PMN. We go to the green screen room. I'm a little intimidated because this is kind of my first like feature-length film I worked on, and I want to make sure we did it right. So Charlie and I went in and we did the scene dressing for the first like new scene. I never thought about that.
Yeah. So we're still on the set of Sasquatch, Master Criminal, our Batman parody film that we were making under the tutelage of two driven creators. I respect their dedication for this project.
Yeah.
They're not going to give up until this thing is done, or done again.
I'm having fun. I think it's a good time.
It's interesting.
Look at the scene we made up. Woo!
Yeah, this is a set you made up.
We actually set this up.
Yeah, which of course in this it's just a giant light thing. But is there any action in this scene, or is it just going to be? Okay.
It's me going down to the Joker's head.
Okay.
This is our Academy Awards.
I like it. Yeah,
make
someone has to smash through that window and then use a shard of glass or something.
Yeah, they were going to replace that window anyway. Right?
Blame it on the rap battle, guys.
They were just rapping too high.
Yeah, his beats were too high.
So anyway, first day we did set dressing. I thought we did really well. And then we went through and kind of got into it, and then kind of learned how Bill operates. I think, one of the things I appreciate that he really let people kind of do a lot of things, experiment and try new things. He eventually didn't want a finished product, so in that sense, him and Charlie have very deep parallels. As I and Jason kind of have similar creative instincts, and so I did see a lot of that in them, and I really I thought that was pretty fun. And so we got a little bit, as we were working with them, and I think we built up some trust, I think. We started doing a little bit more camera work, especially since Bill does a lot of acting, and Bill does a lot. He does acting, he does the film setup, and then eventually he did a lot better on audio, so he was doing audio. So Bill's kind of doing this quadfecta kind of role and amongst all this. So you can kind of work around. So whenever we could try to help him out and do some set up cameras and things like that, that was kind of neat on the set. So as long as there's a helping hand around, I think that was a good part we started out on. To talk to Bill's visual style, I think when it comes to filming, I think it's very dialogue heavy. So every scene is usually filled with and especially he likes to incorporate a lot of characters at certain times, so then the scenes can get rather complex. If you can just imagine, so the scene starts with about 3 people, and then 2 more kind of, Fat Bat and the Joker kind of come in, and then Fat Bat's sidekick comes in the side, and then it breaks off into another group of people that come in, and at the same time we've got 3 cameras doing these wide takes. So at the same time there's some minor choreographed fighting that goes on to transition the scene to the next one. It was probably one of my favorite scenes, because I was doing a lot of kind of actual directing a little bit here and there, because again, Bill's also got this, you most think of when you're sniping in a video game and you do your hold breath scene, that's Bill but in his Fat Bat masks, so you can only have that thing on because it gets so hot in there. So at the same time you're also kind of competing with all these, trying to choreograph, and then Bill's got a limited amount of time he can work with. I'll say doing those chaotic action scenes are probably my favorite part of the whole film, and just no matter what the end result is, I'll just have that memory of just how it was tense, but it was fun. It was a good time.
So it's been several years now that I've been working with Phoenix Reborn Films. The production aspects have changed drastically over the years. The first film I worked on is drastically different in production style than what you would see currently. Key opportunities abound. It's not to say things are not bad, but the thing is no matter who you are and what you're doing, you can always improve. If you in business, they call it continuous improvement. All right, that's true. If you're not constantly striving to go forward, you will fall behind. This last series of films I saw, because Bill was playing such a big role as an actor himself, I saw him really invest in the actor's method and how to really get into character in rehearsals. You know, having to learn these things for himself, he shared that with others as well, and so invited them to participate in the learning more about how to really get into character, how to make that character more natural.
Everyone, the Joker and Fat Bat, all 7 of our viewers. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a thing for superhero movies? Come on, admit it. If so, you could be part of a local superhero-themed film this weekend. Extras are needed tomorrow for a protest rally scene for the film The Iceman Cometh. Filming will take place at the Arcadia Creek Festival Place in downtown Kalamazoo from 10 to 1. Casual dress is encouraged.
Arcadia, now that was a fun session. Yeah, that was in many ways an unpleasant session. It was hot. It was hot. It was windy. We had terrible sound. We had far too many people for my liking all on stage in chaos. It was good and bad all rolled up together, and we wanted a lot of extras. Not that many extras showed up. It was kind of disappointing. There were technical difficulties. I don't think we got all the shots we wanted to get, and it was just the nature of the day was icky in that respect.
The true criminal here is the Fat Man.
Yeah.
We can openly blame the superheroes that create this violence.
Yeah, that's right.
It's time to take a stand and put a stop to these true villains from creating chaos.
Yeah.
Down with the vigilantes.
Down.
And now I won't take up any more time. This time we'll hear from our philosophical inspirer.
We really have to get moving on this one.
Yeah.
We move the cameras, let's move them and do it.
No, I'm saying we do the shots right now like this so that we can just proceed on with the rest of the scene where Kanye goes up to the microphone and everything else.
Yeah, so let's just,
Yeah, and we don't have to reposition the cameras again until we just redo the short little bits with Beaver and everything. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. So we'll just...
It's stuff for your knee. It's gonna make it feel better.
I'm fine for right now.
Sure.
Some of the shots that I didn't really catch right away, going through and reviewing the footage, thought we had completely missed.
Yeah, I thought we were going to move back for a second there.
Very nice to finish doing a rough edit of it, saying, oh, well, okay, this will actually work. Might not be the greatest accomplishment that we have, but it's still at a level that is above what we've done before.
No bullies. Go home.
One of the best things about that day is one of the extras who came, I just got to talking to him. He was a really amiable guy, really nice guy, and we were talking, and I said, hey, you know, he was into doing other films, he'd work with other people, and I was like, hey, you know, you should really come back and play a bigger role in this film. Made an introduction, and that's how we met. Jim Lehman came on board on that day. He just came out to be an extra one day, and then he became Alfred. And he's been a fantastic Alfred, and he's been with us ever since. The thing that is fun and admirable too is Bill will take a risk, right? So there's a million reasons you can say this will be too hard, let's not do it. But it's what much more fun it is to say, well, let's try. And so, you know, just throw in and do your best and see what you can pull off. And so why not? You know, so we took the risk, and you know, now we have a great Alfred.
No, you know. Alfred, not what happened here in the Fat Cave. Where is everyone?
They left. They went to lunch at Shirama restaurant.
Sounds like a post-credit scene.
The World's Greatest Detective, The Dark Knight, The Caped Crusader. He's never really been my favorite hero. I think the most I ever connected with Batman was during the animated series from 1992, or maybe reruns of the corny 1970s show. In my time with Bill, I saw a lot of love for every form of art. Movies, poetry, cartoons. But Batman, or any comic book character, rarely came up outside of the latest big-budget film release. The comic book character beats were almost obligations to hit as part of the script and the finished products. Subtle breaks between the non-stop assault of cameos, plot diversions, and jokes.
Yes, right before you guys leave.
That way we know you're here.
That's a great idea. I've accepted 2 ideas today. This is a new,
A new kind of gentleman.
Yeah, right now we view this as using existing properties to tell a story. And it's more in the spirit of like Airplane or the Scary Movies sort of vein of storytelling than anything else.
Okay.
And that's one thing we're trying to stay away from, because the script for our next, the third in this trilogy is, I think, falling too much in the area of fan film, and we have to go back towards the parody.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the difference between fan film and parody?
Parody basically it makes a distinction between the characters, so you can't confuse like our character for Batman. Like no one could ever watch our film and say, "Oh, it's a Batman movie." And a fan film just completely buys in the canon, just follows along with a storyline. Like they'll have a superhero drama instead of a superhero comedy.
Maybe I didn't witness Bill being reverent to the comic text because of the thin line between parody and fan film. Maybe it's because he wants these films to be more of a showcase for Phoenix Reborn talents, writing, production, acting, rather than promoting an already popular existing property. The business-like approach to the Batman character seems to mirror the corporation who actually has custody of him. In a recent tour of the Warner Brothers studio, the studio's history was promoted by the tour guides as if it was laying out the gospel of Jesus. The movie Rebel Without a Cause didn't just entertain, it shaped the American culture. Even current productions like the Ellen Talk Show were advocated as positive forces of good. But when it came to the DC Comics universe, Lego movies, or Harry Potter, we were just dumped off at a couple of museums and told how much money the movies made. It's almost like these cinematic universes were thought of as checkpoints throughout the year to keep the investors off the Warner Brothers' back. But we can all agree that that Lamborghini from Suicide Squad was pretty sweet. Visiting a comic book expo, I see a more agreeable balance between the creative and the commerce. These cosplayers are putting themselves in the character just as much as they are donning the cape and cowl. This guy is super pumped to be Batman. This guy is super pumped to be Superman. This guy is really excited to be whoever he is. One thing that's missing from a lot of comic book movies, including Bill's, is the sense of joy and wonder that you see at a fan convention.
As I said earlier, it's a bigger production. We have 37 cast members this time. I think we had like 14 or 15 last time. The major difference between this and the Squatch, I think, is this is a lot more tale of friendship. We began this process actually about July 24th a year ago, the day after the premiere of the Squatch. Because the plan was always to do a sequel, and it just grew based on the actors. And we knew that we wanted to do something, and when I heard Jim do his Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, that was more or less it.
Yes.
I'm just really grateful to everybody for everything you've done, everything you bring to the table. And I'm warning you that we're doing the third in the trilogy next year.
Yes.
On camera.
Okay, I was wrong.
Why do people work with you? Like, why do people keep signing up? Because you tend to gain some followers each production.
I really believe it's that people just want to be a part of the whole process of filmmaking. And for an actor to be in a film that actually has a premiere and things like, especially local actors here in Michigan, Not that they don't get it from other producers and directors, but there's going to be a finished product and people are going to see it. And it's going to be like, the great thing about doing a premiere like we did at Alamo last year is people get to go and sit and they have the movie going experience. And we try to do that, and we try to give people exposure.
You should have just said that in the first place. Talking about cows and camels. It's all confusing.
Bill, I'm not Joel Schumacher, but I can understand why you might be upset.
Well. Looks like we are having the chicken. Chip.
What are you, Kalamazoo or something?
By following the rules of the non-violent Celebrities United, the world can become a better place that deals with dangerous people with talk and reason. That is the only way we can ensure the world will be ruled in our vision of justice.
And Jim was down there. I think Joe, give Jim a round of applause for it.
Cool. I've been on a few different sets to where professionalism was not there. Some like bigger things that are actually on TV where people won't even say hi to you. Like if you get in their path, it's like they give you a dirty look and you're sent to jail type stuff. But I haven't met one person that didn't help anyone else here, if that makes any sense. Like every single person here has given me some sort of advice that helped me. And it kind of makes a family out of things. It makes it a lot easier to work with people. And that's kind of one of the bigger reasons why I came. I'm excited to come back to the third one. So.
I thought it was super fun to see the really big choices that you guys made when I wasn't on set. Like I was like, when did that happen? That was so cool. So there's a lot of creativity in this group, and it was awesome to watch that happen from months ago when I was around, but I had no idea it was going on.
But I always learned something from everyone, like from the very beginning level all the way through. People who have a lot of experience, who are older. We're all in different steps in our lives, and I think everyone brings something cool to the table. They bring their stories, and so you learn from their stories, and you contribute yours, and then you just bounce ideas off of each other. That's my favorite part of acting, is getting to know people and getting to hear their story. And the story that Bill told was really cool, and I look forward to seeing the next piece of it. And seeing who we bring on, who I can learn from again. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and taking part in the wonder that was this was our first ever time that we rolled out the red carpet. And I'm really glad that we did it. And our future premieres are all going to feature probably the same red carpet, because we're probably going back to the same place that did it. But anyway. Just want to thank everybody for coming out and helping us show you this piece of work and letting you know that there are films being made here in Southwest Michigan. I think a lot of times in small communities especially, I'm not saying that this is a small community, but small communities, it's what I call the phenomenon of 10 apples, where we think we only have 10 apples, so we all have to share those 10 apples. No, we don't. What we have to do is we have to plant more apple trees, so we all can have them. Because there's no reason that a community this size has things like, I'll just use the example of the Lori Moore show that recently went on TV. There's no excuse for that. Jack's Theater, that doesn't compete with film. We don't compete with each other. We try to build each other up. Laura does wonderful theater. If you have a chance, go see Laura's plays. And what we're trying to do is create a mutual supportive community where we can get not just the Phoenix Reborn things going, but everybody else's stuff going too. And that's why we do the short film showcase.
And when we come back and do every premiere, we're always going to run a short film showcase to highlight all the films and all the things that are happening inside of Southwest Michigan and all the excellent films that people are producing. Like Stephanie's Shark movie, which is a movie I've watched probably 200 times since she sent it to me.
I want to add a bit of gratitude to Bill for giving me the opportunities that I've had. He's been very generous with that, and not just with me, but with all sorts of people. You've worked with Bill, and I mean, you can see he gives people chances to shine. Some people shine more than others, but he gives them the shot, and that's admirable.
I feel like we're building a community of filmmakers, and that for me is the best part. I think when you watch the film, you get a sense of that scale. With all, there are some people who play multiple roles in the film, but still, with as many different things that are going on with the celebrities and the superheroes and the residents of Gotham City and everything that we integrate in together, I think it tells a big story. I think the hardest thing is just getting everybody to come together, but it's really refreshing working with a lot of the actors that we do because of the commitment they do put into the project.
It make me look like a jerk. Some are better than others.
That's it.
This could be a hit piece. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you weren't there for everything. The thing is he gave a lot of people a lot of opportunities. And whenever you're working with that many people, you're going to encounter bad apples. There's been some theft on set. There's been some cruel things said by people about other people, unwarranted and unfair. And I would like for everybody to live in some happy, wonderful world where we're all supportive of each other and, we all get along no matter what our political views are or whatever. But that doesn't always happen. And it's just a nature of working with people. People are inconsistent and weird.
There's never been a single fight on our set ever. Jason and I have never disagreed about anything ever.
One thing that I've really liked about this process is that Bill and the guys are very open to different ideas and everything. It's supposed to be hanging out after a shoot and I thought this thing that would be might be kind of funny to do, and they're like, yes, let's do it. So that's where 3/4 of my characters came from. So that's just been really great to kind of create our own opportunity there. So thank you.
Overall, I mean, it's done. Few people have ever, make short films. If you took a population sample, few people make short films. Fewer people than that make feature-length films. So it is an endeavor that what Bill and Jason go through to make this thing work. So, and all the people they touch, and especially for the city of Kalamazoo, if you could just, it's almost like an infection. If you could map out the patient zero from this thing, so everyone it touches, I think it would be an extremely interesting CDC project, because I mean you do, a lot of people have learned from this, and after each one you can tell Bill's getting better, actors are getting better, and there were so many opportunities for people to do something. And you can say there wasn't a shortage of people wanting to do something. I was actually I wish I could have helped more, I think, in the later ones, but maybe I think I took some liberties with some shots that weren't good.
Tomorrow's the day that Queen of the City premieres at the historic Riviera Theater in Three Rivers. Every day this week I've been talking about different actors we've worked with, different things along the production.
Hi, my name is Charlie Hunt, and you have just watched my thing. I hope you were enjoying it, inspired by it, just like I was working with Bill Kraft on a little bit of the Fat Bat project. Today is the day of the final premiere, the third movie in the trilogy, both parts of it. It's going to be a long one, it's going to be an emotional one, and hopefully we all find closure from it. I bought some new socks for the occasion. It's going to be an event, and hopefully Bill feels a sense of closure and excitement and pride, and he's ready to take a break and then start on his next thing. He swears he's done with Fat Bat. I hope that's the case. I'm excited to see what the next thing from him is, and I'll be there as a fan. This whole project was for me to seek to understand what drove a person to put out this amount of product and bring so many people along for the ride with him. And everybody has a dream. Some are movies, some are non-creative works, and everyone can get close to it. And this project, this 5 years of being in the orbit of this guy, it really showed me that's true. Reading from a letter I got a couple days ago. I find it extremely presumptive of you to think you know anything about me, or make a film about my creative process, or mention any part of my private life. I don't think I know the subject of this movie. I maybe got surface level deep. What I know is my interpretation of events and what I can take from them. That's what's true for me. People that know this guy know what's true for them, and it's mostly positive. So, hope you leave this feeling inspired and ready to work on your next big project. And let me know. I'll be there to watch, and maybe I'll try to make a movie about it. Thank you.